Christopher Hitchens, journalist, author, contrarian, some might say literary badass. He's known for throwing his intellect around and for taking some rather unpopular stands. And if you hate him for that, well then, he's just fine with it.
I want to be hated by these people. If I wasn't hated, I would feel I was utterly lacking in self-respect.
But Hitchens' work has been featured in some highly respected publications. And he's a contributing editor at Vanity Fair. Now, he was born in Portsmouth, England, and as the story goes, his mom said, if there's gonna be an upper class in this country, then Christopher's gonna be in it. So Hitchens went to a fancy private school, later studied at Oxford, and started writing in the 70s, and for a long time, Christopher was a staple of the left-wing media. But like a lot of people in the world, after 9/11, things started to change. Chris supported the invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan, and he broke ranks with the so-called liberal media. In fact, he ended his 20-year relationship with a magazine called The Nation because of it. But Hitchens, whatever, doesn't mind ruffling a few feathers.
Who the hell are you? I think you're about as smart as you look.
He's called Henry Kissinger a war criminal and Bill Clinton a raging psycho. And as for his take on the beloved Princess Di,
Basically a Sloane Ranger, a narcissist, a good time girl, with a very bad taste in men.
how about the unassailable Mother Teresa? Hello, Target. Hitchens says she's no saint either, more like a fraud. Oh, he's also taken on another big name, some fellow named God. Heard of the growing atheist movement? Well, you can bet a lot of those folks have either read or have put on their bookshelf Hitchens' new book called God is Not Great, How Religion Poisons Everything. Please welcome back to the show, Christopher Hitchens. Welcome back, man. How are you? Nice to be here. Things are well? Your book's in paperback now, God is Not Great.
Back on the list.
Back on the list.
Available, fine bookstores everywhere.
Everywhere, even some non-fine bookstores.
Indeed, yeah. Junk bookstores everywhere, yes.
You know, when you were first on the show, this book had first come out in hardcover, your book was out, people were talking about the Sam Harris book, there was the Dawkins book, The God Delusion, and in a couple of years, this growing atheist movement seems to have continued in its own way. What have you noted about it in the time since your book has come out?
That there are more people in America who are determined to defend the Constitution than the Christian right had thought, who really do care about separation of church and state, who are not going to have their children taught creationist nonsense in school, not going to be laughed at for coming from a backward state that does this kind of thing, and who really think that the whole point of the United States is you can be free to practice religion and you can be free not to. And freedom of religion is also freedom from. And these people have come out to show themselves, and it's now the fastest growing minority in the country. All studies of opinion show it. Those who don't check any box for the faith have gone to from about 8 to about 16% in the last 10 years. I predict it'll double again in the next 10.
Do you think it's people that are...
And by the way, I think the president is one of us. I wish he would have the nerve to say so.
He wouldn't have the nerve to say that?
He did say in his inaugural, which I watched carefully, and I was standing on the building looking down, I could almost have spat on the Chief Justice, and in fact, don't think it didn't cross my...
But you did cross your mind.
He did say that the America of Christian, Jew, Muslim, unbeliever, and so on, which got him into a lot of trouble with the preachers. And he did end with quoting Thomas Paine, though he didn't say who he was quoting. Right. He just said the words, he didn't say the author. He was careful. Thomas Paine was the author of The Age of Reason.
You supported Obama, and Obama has a different position on the war in Iraq than you did or his predecessor did. So
yes.
how do you look at what Obama's going to do, and are you comfortable with where this president's going?
Well, I tell you what, the president, I don't think he quite knows it yet, is in a world of pain, because he would say Iraq war not justified and a distraction from the real fight against Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
Afghanistan war, highly justified and concentrated on Al-Qaeda. It could be he was... I know what he means by this, and I respect it, but I think he could be exactly wrong. We've defeated Al-Qaeda in Mesopotamia, in Iraq, for now, and we've re-secured the country. We have every chance of relaunching Iraq as a modern state. In Afghanistan, we're losing all the time, and we're losing our main ally, Pakistan. 60 miles from the capital city, the black turbans and the machine guns, and many sympathizers within the establishment, beckoning them into power. Obama said he would fight to the end to stop that happening. He's committed the United States to much more war, that means,
you and Obama,
than his supporters realize.
You and Obama both agree that waterboarding is torture now.
Yes, yes, we do.
You just underwent waterboarding. What was your opinion about waterboarding before you underwent it?
Well, all I knew then was that the United States, and up till now, had called it torture, and if an American was subjected to it in wartime, had always sought the death penalty for those who did it. Right. Japanese interrogators and others. We always said, okay, you do this, you're going to go to the drop for that. So that was clear enough, and I thought we're not really entitled to change a position of that sort when we do it. It doesn't become any better. But I still wanted to know, and I thought the only way I can add to this argument is find some people, professionals, who will do it to me.
We have it. Let's take a look at this. This is a Christopher Hitchens undergoing what is called torture, waterboarding. Now that's right. Now the music alone is torture, not to belittle it, but
you're subjected to blindfolding, hooding, sensory deprivation, and then put in a room with a lot of white noise. Mm-hmm. So that's before it starts, and then the water. And what you've probably all read or heard is it simulates the feeling of drowning. Right. That's not true. It is, you are being drowned.
There's no simulation. That water's going in you.
Yeah, you are being drowned, except very slowly. So
you're held down. So you had like a towel or a rag over your head that they were keeping your head tied to the board, and then you started pouring water.
The water comes up your nostrils the wrong way, and you have, because you're a mammal, at least I think that's what we are, a primate. Every reflex in you, from the gag reflex onwards, resists. This has to stop now, or I'll die. So, and you'll do anything to stop it. Right. Is the corollary of that.
It's coercion. You'll say anything as well.
Well, no one says it's not coercion. Yeah. The question is it torture? Well, you're fit enough when it's over to, in my case, because I didn't last very long the first time, to feel ashamed and be willing to try it again, just because I didn't feel I'd held up well enough. But I didn't last much longer the second time either. And I could stop it, you see, and I knew I could. Mm-hmm.
You're not 21 years old, so the idea of getting someone to want to do that to you is pretty difficult.
The people who said, thank you for saying that, because I'd forgotten. The people who were doing it to me and who agreed to do it made me sign a form beforehand, indemnifying them, because they said this procedure could lead to death by stroke, seizure, heart attack, many other things, in a person much younger than myself. So they were saying, this is a lethal thing we're doing, and we need your confirmation that you accept that. So I thought, that was a hard document to sign, by the way.
I would imagine if you had taken a pause looking at that, wondering if maybe I shouldn't go through with this.
Of course I thought about it, yeah. But it's an old saying, cowards die many times before their deaths.
Were you a coward before? Like, was this a thing for you to do?
I've been in warfare as a witness in Sarajevo and in Iraq and a few other places, Zimbabwe. I've done it enough to know that I couldn't do it for a living. I couldn't be a soldier.